tonight. As the Canada Post strike continues, local charities relying on mail campaigns are feeling the pressure. Newly elected Regina City Councillors are expected to make some big decisions. Air Canada announces a new fee for carry-on baggage.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Wednesday, December the 4th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Good evening and thank you for watching. As the Canada Post postal strike is about to hit its third week, many industries are facing challenges because of it. And that includes charitable organizations that rely on the mail to receive their donations. Jeffrey Tram explains.
At Souls Harbor Rescue Mission in Regina, preparation is underway for supper. Volunteers are expecting to serve more than 300 people Wednesday night. For 3 decades, the organization has provided free meals Monday to Friday, and the reasons why people need help vary.
People are coming because they don't have the funds to provide all of the things that they need. So if you think, should I pay my rent or should I eat? Should I send my kid to daycare or should I eat?
Souls Harbor relies on the goodwill of people. People do donate groceries like turkeys and hams, but the organization can do more with financial donations as they can stretch it further. For that, they rely on a direct mail campaign where donors typically mail in checks.
Without mail coming in, it means we don't have the funds coming in to purchase the food that we need. Yes, it could be sitting at Canada Post. We don't know.
At Regina's Food Bank, they are also feeling the impact of the strike. Like Souls Harbor, they rely heavily on direct mail, especially during the holidays. It makes up about a quarter of the food bank's revenue. CEO John Bailey is encouraging people to donate online.
Not only can we process your donation immediately, we can make sure you get your tax return same day.
Since 2019, Regina's Food Bank has seen a 233% increase in usage. This year, on track to be up another 15%. Bailey tries to make sure the support process is as welcoming as possible.
The hardest 15 steps are between the time they enter the door to our building and actually get to our front desk to get their service. So we want to make sure that we're in an environment that empowers folks.
Back at Souls Harbor, Ingram says nothing will deter them from their goal.
We're not going anywhere. We're going to help as many people as we can help, and we'll still be here after the strike and doing what we do.
Jeffrey Tram, CBC News, Regina.
A Saskatoon mother says her son is being excluded from a full school experience due to a lack of funding. She says his high needs require additional staff support at his school, which is only available part of the day. She shared her story at the legislature this afternoon.
I had a meeting with the school and I was told that he can only attend mornings. I was provided less than a week's notice just because they could no longer support. And again, that puts me in a very vulnerable place to try and maintain employment myself. Barely hanging on. I am barely hanging on, and I'm basically one step away from a welfare line because I don't have a choice and I don't know what to do. Where does a person turn when they're in this situation? Because I don't know what that solution is.
The opposition NDP says the government should know how many students are not able to attend school part or full-time because there are not proper supports in place. The Minister of Education says the government is working with divisions to try to close gaps in staffing. The debate at the legislature continues over a former government MLA whose hotels did business with the province. Earlier this year, the Conflict of Interest Commissioner determined former Regina MLA Gary Greywall breached rules when his hotels received payments from social services. The NDP opposition says the government overpaid and wants Greywall to answer questions at the Legislative Committee. But the government doesn't support that. Yesterday, the provincial auditor said the government needs to be transparent with payments made to vendors. The government says it's improved its procurement policies and is following all of the auditor's recommendations. It was a day of firsts for many members of Regina's newly elected City Council. They gathered in council chambers today for an executive committee meeting. Alexander Kwan brings us the latest on the changes at City Hall.
Regina City Council got to work on Wednesday, holding one of their first meetings since 8 new councillors and a new mayor were elected in last month's civic election. The executive committee meeting was as much about getting up to speed on the rules as making decisions, and the new mayor admits there's a learning curve.
I anticipated drinking through a fire hose, so that has met expectations, I'll say. But no, nothing overly surprising. It's really just the learning curve and keeping pace.
Over the last few weeks, new councillors have undergone intensive orientation, bringing them up to speed on the ins and outs of the city of Regina. With so many new people forming council, Bashinsky says it helped bring them closer together.
It was definitely one of the key factors that helped us, get together often and early, build some of those relationships and really understand each other.
Some councillors are already taking a stance on spending, voicing concerns about pre-approving parts of the city budget.
I'm thinking about the people of Regina, so those are just a comment that, you wonder if these things sometimes it's, hey, maybe it's easier just to buy brand new, but sometimes, sometimes used isn't bad either.
Staff say council needs to approve sections of the budget so work on certain projects can continue in the new year. Because of the late election, the budget won't be debated until March. That means a final vote on the pre-approved items will come next week at council's first full meeting. Alexander Kwan, CBC News, Regina.
Assembly of First Nations chiefs have voted in favor of renegotiating a nearly $50 billion deal with Ottawa to reform on-reserve child welfare system. They also decided to appoint a new negotiating team to represent First Nations in future talks. It all comes after the previously negotiated deal came up against fierce opposition. Olivia Stefanovic has the details from Ottawa.
Since the very moment this assembly started, it was clear children would be the focus.
Because too many First Nations children continue to be taken from their families and their communities.
But a debate over what's in the best interest of First Nations children continues.
The next iteration of the long-term agreement really has to show how Canada is going to change its ways to ensure discrimination doesn't happen again. The last agreement fell far short of that as well.
Ottawa is offering $47.8 billion to reform the on-reserve child welfare system, a deal negotiated and endorsed by AFN leadership. Money meant to keep parents and their children together by ensuring a roof over their heads, food on the table, and having counseling services available.
I really supported this because I need some financial resources and help create our own prevention program and child and family services in the community.
So he's defeated.
But back in October, AFN members resoundingly rejected Ottawa's multi-billion-dollar offer, following concerns funding would only be guaranteed for 10 years and because children and families living off reserve are excluded.
For them not to be compensated it's discrimination at its finest.
Now the deal is being sent back to the drawing board, something this First Nations leader advocated for.
It would be nice to get the settlement done completely right away, but it doesn't work like that. There's a lot of gaps in the system that they haven't really fixed.
In a resounding vote late this afternoon, chiefs agreed to put a new negotiating team in place, led by longtime First Nations child advocate Cindy Blackstock. The challenge now will be to secure a deal before the next federal election scheduled in less than a year's time. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, Ottawa.
Vancouver police say 2 people have been stabbed and a suspect was shot by police in the city's downtown. 2 people have been wounded and a suspect shot by police following a stabbing near Library Square this morning. Vancouver police responded around 11:30 a.m. Pacific time to a 911 call from staff at a restaurant near Robson and Hamilton Street. The caller reported a man had stolen alcohol and was armed with a knife inside the restaurant. Officers responded immediately and located the armed suspect inside a nearby 7-Eleven convenience store. The suspect was shot by police and taken into custody. First responders did administer first aid. He was taken to hospital where he later died. 2 people were injured and also taken to hospital. Their injuries are not believed to be life-threatening. Oh, frigid morning in the Bridge City and across Saskatchewan. What a change from yesterday. You can see all of the steam rising and exhaust coming off buildings as everything works to keep warm. Not a lot of wind out there, but it is still a -20 wind chill this hour. It is cold. Thankfully, there is another small break coming and a warmer one, but before that happens, we might be in for some more flurries. Ethan Williams will have the details in your forecast after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Air Canada says its cheapest tickets in the new year will not include a free carry-on item on some routes. As Sophia Harris reports, the move is not going over well with passengers.
Air Canada is following WestJet's lead by nixing free carry-on for customers paying the cheapest fare, basic economy. Earlier this year, WestJet announced that passengers flying its lowest cost fare can no longer bring overhead carry-on on board. They can still bring a purse or a small knapsack, but any luggage must be checked for a fee. Today, Air Canada joined in, announcing that starting in 2025, basic economy passengers will have to pay $35 to check their luggage. And if they wait until they board, passengers will have to shell out more, $65 to check their bag. Now, most passengers CBC spoke with at Toronto's Pearson Airport weren't thrilled with the idea.
Kind of surprised to hear that they're charging now for that for economy, because it kind of defeats the purpose of the economy ticket.
I don't agree with any of the fees. I wish they would have to put at least a carry-on and a seat should be in the price.
Airline analyst John Graddick agrees. He says airline fees are getting out of control and that carry-on baggage should be included in the ticket price.
There are things that require, carry-on space, and I think that this is what I call a bridge pushed too far.
However, airlines often argue that charging fees helps keep base fares low and that customers only pay for the added services they want. An airline analyst, Duncan D, says for passengers who travel light, Air Canada's new rules may work to their advantage.
For the traveler who only carries on a small personal item, this is a boon for them because, frankly, they're no longer subsidizing the traveler who has a carry-on bag.
Air Canada's no carry-on rules for basic fares will apply to tickets purchased on or after January 3rd. So, if you are planning to travel with Air Canada, pay the lowest fare and bring your luggage, it might be wise to book your ticket now. Sophia Harris, CBC News, Toronto.
A group of Quebec chemists are warning about adult skincare products being used by children. They say the ingredients could be harmful for young skin. Vanessa Lee looks at what parents should know about the social media-inspired trend.
Are these products good for your age?
Swayed by videos posted by beauty influencers on social media, many tweens and teens across the country are obsessed with skincare.
This moisturizer makes me feel very hydrated.
Including 12-year-old Lauren from Toronto.
I want to keep my skin healthy because I break out sometimes and I have acne.
Oh my God, these look like proper tanning drops.
Quebec's Order of Chemists is concerned about the viral trends.
Let's talk about how I just had a chat with a 9-year-old who just bought these.
It says kids are being enticed to use products meant for adults, not suitable for young skin.
We needed to raise a flag on the different exfoliants and anti-aging creams that some kids as young as 5 years old go out and buy in different stores.
Anti-aging creams often contain retinol, which dermatologists say is unnecessary for those who haven't reached their 20s, when collagen begins to decrease. They also point to chemical exfoliants containing alpha-hydroxy acids and beta-hydroxy acids being irritating by nature and can be harsh on sensitive faces.
We do know that they are going to cause, inflammation, redness, scaling. This is something that can jeopardize the natural skin barriers for which you need, regular creams and moisturizers.
In Sweden, a major pharmacy chain has banned children under 15 from buying products with those active ingredients, saying using advanced skincare that, for example, aims to reduce wrinkles and get a more even skin tone is not something a child needs. So what should a skincare routine look like for tweens and teens? Dr. Ivan Litvinov says to keep it simple.
We recommend using a simple fragrance-free moisturizer and a sunscreen.
Hey guys, get ready. Experts say they're still studying the long-term effects as they go up against influencers with their message, less is more. Vanessa Lee, CBC News, Montreal.
The weather update is brought to you by Capital Ford Lincoln. Year-end clearance is on now.
Well, I'm dying to know about Ethan's very special skincare routine, but I think the weather's a little more important because holy is it ever cold out there today.
Yeah, just go outside and let your skin be graced by the beautiful cold weather.
It hurts my face.
Yes, it'll hurt your face for sure, and it certainly has been for many of us throughout the day. We have seen a real weather whiplash over these last few days with temperatures rising and falling. Yesterday when I showed you this board, it was temperatures going in the other direction. It was going from cold to warm. Now we're going from warm to cold, and you can see that places like Regina and Moose Jaw in a 24-hour period from Tuesday into Wednesday, this is a 21-degree temperature drop. Many other locations, again, dropping by more than 15 degrees in some cases. I want to show you our daytime high temperature board here because this is for Wednesday here. You can see many locations, only getting as high as the mid-teens, but a little further south here, you may notice there's some above freezing temperatures here. Well, those temperatures were actually reached in the wee hours of the morning, 1 or 2 a.m. Wednesday, before the cold front reached places like Cornac and Val-Marie as it moved from north to south, and places that already had that cold front moving through. Well, the best we managed was, again, -14, -15 in a lot of places. High pressure is also reinforcing the cold, but as that begins to move out, we are seeing a little bit of some snow make its way through west central and southwestern portions of the province. For areas to the east, again, high pressure probably going to keep us free and clear of the snow overnight, but places like Kindersley and into Swift Current, that'll be quickly moving through overnight. We'll begin the day tomorrow on a cloudy note. Some west central and southwestern, maybe south central sections of the province, though, seeing those clouds clear away. We'll be getting a little bit of sun. And then we'll be watching another couple of systems that'll be moving through the province. This a small one that's going to be moving in early Friday, which could bring some freezing rain, snow and rain through central sections. We're watching that possibly for Saskatoon as well, but I think it'll be shifted a little bit north, and then as that moves on eastward, that'll move into Manitoba. But it's this next low pressure system bringing a whole range of moisture as we get into the early part of the weekend before that finally starts to move out. This first little system tonight in portions of western Saskatchewan, I think it's only really 2 to 3 centimeters. We do have a little system moving through the north as well that'll bring about that much as well. We'll know better totals for the weekend in the next couple of days here. But the good news is winds look to be staying fairly light, and notice which direction those are coming from. Now shifted coming from the south, which is going to bump up our temperatures pretty significantly. We get into tomorrow in Regina, we'll be warming up overnight, and we'll be seeing those temperatures possibly in the next few days even getting above the freezing mark. Saskatoon, nice few days here, and then we kind of drop off after a bit of snowfall on Sunday. But the good news is, Sam, doesn't look like we're going to drop back into that deep freeze like we have been the last little while.
I can handle that. Thanks, Ethan.
You're welcome.
Vancouver is only 2 days away from getting its version of the Eras Tour. A number of Taylor Swift-themed signs and installations are popping up across the city. Officials expect over 300,000 people will visit this weekend for Swift's final 3 Eras Tour shows. And economists are predicting that Swift's Vancouver era will bring a total economic impact of $157 million to the city. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are losing offensive coordinator Buck Pierce. The BC Lions have named them their new head coach. It's a first head coaching job for Pierce, who played quarterback for both the Blue Bombers and BC before going into coaching. He helped Winnipeg win the Grey Cup titles in 2019 and 2021. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back. Drive-thru restaurants are known for their convenience, but they're also great places for people watching. And one truly delivers in Sylvan Lake, Alberta. You might see Kelly Landry riding her 8-year-old steer through the Tim Hortons.
I have him since he was 1 week old. Animals are like men, they love food. You attract them by the belly, so yeah. All animals love sugars. I bought some Timbits and sometimes some donuts, some bread. I just order my stuff and go out the window, but this time I can't grab my stuff because he's too high, so I just told to the guy that keep my order. I will go inside and I will tie him to a pole. People come to take picture with him, pet that dog. Animals are a therapy, so when no one is there, your animals will always be there.
Well, Ethan, you get to follow the cow. What's the weather look like?
I wonder if they give them those, pup cups like they get at the drive-thru. You can get cow cups maybe at the drive-thru.
A
Gotta give them
puppuccino?
something. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Anyway, the weather tonight, well, let me tell you, these temperatures, we're starting on a chilly note for many of us, but out further west in west central and southwestern Saskatchewan, that snow moving through, going to bump up temperatures actually a bit starting overnight tonight. For northern Saskatchewan, again, temperatures quite chilly. We'll have some near -30 up in the far north, but watch as we get into tomorrow morning. A rapid increase actually overnight in temperatures, and that means that for a lot of us we'll be starting into the minus teens, maybe even breaking over -10 in portions of or the western side of the north. For south and central, a similar warm-up overnight. Especially noticeable out west. Further east, we'll start the day closer to -20, but then temperatures warming up into the mid-minus single digits, and even, Sam, some sunshine out west as well possible.
I live for the sunshine. Thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
All right, before we go, be sure to catch CBC Radio's The 306 live in person on Thursday in the Provincial Archives building in Regina. It's part of the CBC's Make the Season Kind campaign supporting Saskatchewan food banks. You can also stream it from 4 to 6 on our CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel. That is it for us tonight. For more news anytime, you can head to our website or subscribe to that YouTube channel. You can also download the CBC News app on your smartphone or tablet. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.